Hi, gang, it's Adam.
And Patrick.
Coming up on today's episode, we share listener feedback and reveal the final selections for what to call you, our Gays Do the D listeners, and how you can vote for your favorite. We cover the latest Disney news, and we interview Explore the World Travel Podcast's Matt Long about his first visit to Walt Disney World. As always, we close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Patrick Peanut.
Wow. That's it? Just a first and a last name? That's not even my last name?
It's like Madonna Peanut or Cher Peanut.
I don't think that's how it works.
Oh, okay.
How's it going? Adam Chai?
Spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Mellow. Robust.
Sip a tall glass of Adam Chai.
No one would order that. No one would order that.
Sure they would. It'd be gingery. It'd be delightful.
Oh, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm real good. How are you?
I'm fabulous, thank you.
Good. How was your week?
Fantastic. How was yours?
It was delightful. I had a jam-packed week.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Went to the Twins game.
Who did they play?
They played the Chicago White Sox.
I don't really care.
Okay, great. Great. Sports games.
Yeah.
I had a book club.
Oh.
And then now I'm here talking to Adam Chai.
What a varied week you had.
It was ups. It was downs.
Renaissance man.
It was spicy. How was your week? More importantly, where are you in RuPaul's Drag Race?
Forget my week.
Yeah, no one cares.
Well, I went back to season 1.
Oh, you did?
Which was interesting.
The Vaseline season.
How much Vaseline did they smear on those lenses?
It was amazing.
There were times I couldn't even tell who was who.
Shoot me from the left.
Yeah. Shoot me from 50 feet away with saran wrap covering the lens.
I wanted to shoot whoever made that decision.
Well, they were on a budget.
That's true.
And they wanted to do whatever they could to dress up
Fair enough.
the gals.
The cardboard boxes they were standing on as a stage.
I have been in community theater productions with better sets than that set.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So I finished season 1.
Winner, Bibi Sahara.
That's right, local queen.
Local Minneapolis queen.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
And now we're into season 2, which is a huge step up. Still lacking, but a huge step up. I mean, they have the set now.
Is that the season that Tatiana came out?
That's correct.
And I think it was Shangela's very first season, right?
Shangela too, yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of a good season.
It is a good season.
I really like Tatiana.
I really like Tatiana too.
She's where I got my thank you from.
Sure.
I stole it right from her.
I mean, she's gorgeous, right?
Beautiful.
But I love her sense of humor too, when she's a queen in particular.
She's a sneaky, smart comedian.
Yeah.
Like you look at her and you don't think that really smart things are going to come out of her mouth.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden you're like, whoa, that was super funny.
Yeah.
She's good. I liked her.
So that's my RuPaul update.
Good. You had a good week.
Well, let's dive into the episode, shall we?
Let's dive right in.
We have some new listeners, Patrick.
We do.
Yes, Lloyd, who you can find on Instagram at Lloyd Jason. Welcome, Lloyd.
Hi, Lloyd.
We have Beth, who is from England, Patrick.
Ooh, across the pond.
Yes, you can find her on Instagram at Beth Weilman. Hello, Beth, and welcome.
Hi, Beth. Are you drinking tea just like me?
You are drinking tea.
I am. Well, I'm drinking sparkling water and tea. I'm mixing and matching.
Oh.
Double fisting.
You know what they say, sparkling water before tea.
Is that what they say?
Footloose and fancy free.
Oh, there's more to it.
Tea before sparkling water. You've probably felt hotter.
I've never felt hotter than I do right now. That's a lie. That's a full lie.
You are wearing a Villains spirit jersey.
I sure am.
Or is that just a tee?
It's just a t-shirt.
Oh, it's trash then.
But I feel spirited in it.
Oh, cute.
Mm-hmm.
New listener Jamila wrote into us via email, Patrick.
Ooh.
And she is low-key / high-key Disney fanatic.
I love that.
She's also a bounder and a character performer, and she lives here in Minneapolis.
Oh my goodness, send us some pics of you Disney bounding.
Or you can just follow her on Instagram, too.
I'm real lazy.
Jamila can be found on Instagram at Jamila Joyner.
We also, Adam, have a new Patreon member.
Get right out of here.
I will not get out of here. His name is John. He's also from across the pond.
I wonder if Beth and John know each other.
They should be besties from now on.
Yes.
Let's make it happen. He wrote to us a cute little note as well. He says, "Hey guys, I am from the UK, but own a place in Orlando, so spend a few months of the year there. When I am back at home across the pond, your pod keeps the rainbow magic flowing. Keep up the great content." Thanks, John, and thank you so much for your generous donation to the pod.
Thank you, John. We really appreciate it.
We appreciate you.
Patrick, you've got some rainbow magic flowing right now. I thought you would have taken care of that before I arrived.
Out of me, around me, in me. I can't stop.
We also received some listener feedback from last week's episode and our take 2 of the Black Cauldron.
We received a lot of listener feedback. People had some things to say about
sure
the Black
did.
Cauldron.
Yes. Let's
read some of them, shall we?
Okay.
We have listener Kevin writing in. He's on Instagram at Mr. Kevykevs. That's the cutest name ever. Mr. Kevykevs says, "The infamous film that nearly destroyed Disney animation. It was an ambitious project to release at the time, but the themes of friendship, self-sacrifice, and understanding your happy ending, interesting, may not be down the path you first imagined, are timeless. There's nothing here to really praise or complain about. It just is what it is." Mr. Kevykevs also has a little suggestion for us. He wants us to do a take 2 on The Return to Oz.
Oh, we should do that.
I love that movie.
I love that movie, too.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's pretty dark, too. Maybe that will be a Halloween one.
That is a great idea for a Halloween take 2.
Okay, stay tuned, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Kevykevs.
I'm never not going to call you that, Mr. Kevykevs.
Daniel also wrote in. You can find Daniel on Instagram at DancoDirect. Daniel says, "I loved The Black Cauldron, mostly because I loved the books. I used to fantasize that I was Taran. And that I would go on all sorts of grand adventures with my friends, and that," oh gosh, she's going to make me pronounce some names, "and that Adon or Gwyndian would fall in love with me, LOL." Those names.
You should never, ever hook up with a Welsh person because they would be very offended by you.
I just say, "Hey, you," and he'd come running. And Gurgi would always make me cry.
Aw, Gurgi.
That's cute. Daniel also did rip on my pronunciation of the names during the episodes. So.
We didn't do a great job of that.
I really didn't. You were great. I
Thank you so much.
I have no clue when it comes to these Welsh names.
This is a big sorry about it. Across the board.
Thank you for your feedback, Daniel.
Moving on, we have Alexis who writes in. She's at Alexis in Wonderland, and she just simply says, "My favorite Disney movie."
Wow.
You're the one. Thanks, Alexis.
Wow, Alexis.
Interesting. I want to know more about why it's your favorite Disney movie.
Yes, Alexis, please let us know.
Mm-hmm.
We also heard from Rob, who you can find on Instagram at zippity-doo-dah-days. And Rob sent us a fantastic email chock full of information, but the most interesting part to me was the fact that he's been to Tokyo Disneyland.
Ooh.
And he had this to say about an experience at the park. The Black Cauldron was represented in the parks for a while, but only in Tokyo, as far as I know. There used to be an attraction called the Cinderella Castle Mystery Tour, which was wonderful. It was a guided walking tour through the dungeons of the castle. What was supposed to start out as some kind of princess tour is taken over by the magic mirror, who opens a secret door, and you descend to meet lots of villains. My memory of it is spotty, but I remember clearly the final room, which had the Black Cauldron on a kind of dais, with the waterless moat in between you and it, kind of like the moat at zoos that separate you from the lions. The lights change and the Horned King appears, performs some kind of incantation over the cauldron, which lights up and brings to life the skeletons that had been lying in the moat. Eventually, the tour guide selects a member of the crowd. When I was there, it was a child, which it probably is most of the time, to wield a magic sword to defeat the Horned King.
Sounds terrifying.
Yeah, but really cool, too.
Absolutely.
Is Tokyo the one that has the dragon underneath the castle, or is that Paris?
I think that's Paris.
Okay, I want to see that, too.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some traveling to do, Patrick.
I know, it's true. You can donate at Patreon through gaysdothed.com.
No. We do not use that money for traveling, people.
Yet.
Rob also sent us a couple of videos of the experience, which we will post in our show notes and in the episode post on gaysdothed.com, because it's really cool to see how this experience played out.
Absolutely. Thanks for writing in, Rob. Very insightful.
Yes.
Moving on, we have frequent writer-inner Rodri. That's the correct term, right?
That's grammar.
A writer-inner.
Yeah.
We have Rodri from Instagram at RodMeetsWorld. He says, I love you guys talking about the Welshness of the Black Cauldron. Do you love it or did you hate it? Half of my heritage, he hated it.
Oh.
I have never seen it, but I feel like I need to. I've heard all the controversy with the movie, and so I'm skeptical to watch it. But the completist in me that has seen almost all the Disney canon films makes me intrigued.
Yeah, you should see it, Rodri.
Absolutely, for sure. And let us know your opinions once you do watch it.
And last but not least, we heard from Aaron, who you can find on Instagram at Aaron Tornado Disney. And Aaron did not comment on our take 2 of the Black Cauldron.
Couldn't be bothered.
Instead, he commented on our news segment story, in which we talked about New Year's Eve at Animal Kingdom. Mm-hmm. And you and I had kind of discussed which park we would prefer to spend our New Year's Eve in and how crowded it would be.
For sure.
Aaron says, listening to episode 53 right now, by the way, I did New Year's Eve at Epcot, and it was so magical, to be honest. You're so, quote-unquote, vested, drunk. Is that what vested means nowadays?
Sure.
Drunk?
Why not?
These kids.
I'm vested right now.
You're so vested, drunk in the environment that it being packed is not in mind. To be clear, I hate crowded parks and everyone smelling like outside.
Oh, dear.
But I noticed none of it.
Interesting.
So despite Epcot being packed, he said he still had a fabulous time.
What were you vested on?
Yeah.
Rum. Just full-on rum.
What's your drink of choice, Aaron? Do let us know. Thank you, Aaron, for your thoughts, and thanks to everyone else, too, who wrote in about the Black Cauldron.
Thanks, team. And Adam, speaking of team,
Yes.
we've got a little contest going here at Gays Do the D.
A contest or more of like a democratic choice to make?
It's a presidential contest.
Okay. You're right. It's the same thing.
It's a popularity contest.
We've got a big old contest next year.
We sure do. We sure do. We're going to contest that contest, maybe.
Well,
Uh-oh.
hopefully not.
We should move on. This could get dark.
Yeah.
No, we are trying to figure out what to name you as our listeners. What's your group collective name?
Right.
So we asked you a couple of episodes ago and last episode to write in, give us your suggestions, and then we're going to do a little vote.
That's right.
You guys get to choose your own name.
We had so many suggestions, in fact, that we had to kind of cull the list.
We did. We weeded out the terrible ones that you sent in.
They were all fantastic.
Just kidding.
They were all fantastic, but let's just assume that like the Iowa primary has already happened.
Right. Some were less fantastic than others.
And some candidates have been removed from the field.
That you know what you did.
And so we're left with 5 fabulous choices.
I really, really enjoy these. I think if any of these win, I'll be very happy.
Patrick, why don't you run down that list for us?
Ooh, okay. So, starting off the list, we have Beehive.
Oh, like Beyonce's Beehive.
Mm-hmm.
But you would be the D-Hive.
I like that.
I get it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We have the Fairy Pod family.
Cute.
Very cute. Very clever and whimsical.
Yes.
We've got the Mouska Queers. That one just makes me laugh.
It does make me laugh,
Some
too.
people might be offended by it, but you know what? I don't care. I'm just kidding. No, I do care.
It's not meant in an offensive way.
Not at all. Not at all. I
And
think
it's all
cute.
inclusive.
Sure.
Allies can also be Mouska Queers if that's the one that's chosen.
Isn't queer a term in Alice in Wonderland?
Sure is.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
We have the Tweedledees.
The Tweedledees.
That's adorable.
super cute.
Also an Alice in Wonderland mention there.
Yeah.
Good job. And last but not least, we have the D-Bags.
The D-Bags.
That makes me laugh.
Whether or not that's chosen, I think of each and every listener as a D-Bag.
True. I think of you as a D-Bag.
That's accurate.
Mm-hmm. Adam D-Bag Hummel.
Patrick Peanut.
You sticking with Peanut?
I am.
Sack of peanuts.
Patrick Peanut D-Bag.
Aw.
So we're going to give everybody the option of voting for 2 choices. Give us your top 2 choices.
I like it.
And to vote, all you need to do is go to gaysdothed.com/vote. All of the options will be there, and you'll be able to select your top 2 faves.
Fantastic. So, Adam, September is a slow month historically for Disney movies, so we have 0 anniversaries to talk about.
Oh my gosh.
So I vote we move on into the news.
Patrick, you're doing your civic duty. Thank you for doing it.
I'm doing a civic duty right now.
Oh.
What?
Perhaps before I arrived, that would have been a better time to do it. And maybe in a bathroom. On to the news.
Okay. As we all know, Disney is a leader in corporate giving and community outreach, and I've got not 1, but 2 small stories that exemplify this.
Let me hear them.
Okay. Each year, Disney World invests in nonprofit organizations through their signature giving program, Disney Grants. The aim is to help fund unique and creative projects led by nonprofits. This past week, Disney presented McCormick Research Institute, a nonprofit providing life-changing equine therapy to veterans and individual needs, a $75,000 grant. The grant will help support the Heavenly Hooves and Horses and Heroes programs in Osceola County. These two programs provide equine therapy to those in need of help with emotional and physical stability to continue healing and be the best version of themselves. The grant will also support the organization's ongoing research to improve social functioning, self-regulating behaviors, and language and motor skills for veterans and children with cognitive disabilities. Very cool.
Horse helpers.
I love that.
So cute.
There's some really lovely photos online on the Disney Parks blog of these organizations with the horses. It's amazing what they do.
They are gentle giants.
They sure are. Moving on to yet another inspiring story. Recently, in Claremont, Florida, a fire broke out in East Ridge High School, destroying the school's band instruments. The school reached out to the community in efforts to raise money, and Disney heard the call for help. This past week, Disney donated $20,000 to help the school buy new instruments. A quote from Senior Vice President of Public Affairs at Walt Disney World, Rena Langley: "When we heard the news, we knew we needed to offer our support and help make the students' dream of restoring the band program come true." The Lake County Schools Superintendent Diane Cornegie told reporters to see a company of this magnitude come to the aid of students at a time of loss is truly touching. It will make a lasting difference for these young musicians.
That's fabulous, particularly in a time where arts are being diminished in public schools.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic to hear that a company like Disney can come in and help support the arts.
Absolutely. And like the superintendent said, a company this enormous who has the time to look for stories like this. I mean, this could have just been a blip on the radar that passed right by them, but they saw it and they paused and said, you know what, we can make a huge difference right now with pocket change to us. Do you know what I mean?
Not to be selfish, but do you think if I set fire to our recording equipment that Disney will come in and give us better recording equipment?
I think now that it's on record, you probably shouldn't do that.
I'm not going to set fire to our recording equipment.
Adam, cut all of this.
Patrick.
Yas, Adam.
Not everyone is as lucky as you to have your bae Donald wish them a good night before going to sleep every night.
It's very true.
But for those wishing for the next best thing, Disney Bedtime Hotline has returned.
Oh, that sounds a little scandalous. I'm not going to lie to you.
You've reached Disney Bedtime Hotline. Dialing 1-877-7-MICKEY will give you the option to receive a special goodnight message from Mickey, Woody from Toy Story, Jasmine from Aladdin, Anna and Elsa from Frozen, Yoda from Star Wars, or Spider-Man from Spider-Man, and various other Marvel films.
Interesting.
Okay, so Patrick, assume Donald is away for the night. Spending some QT with his beard Daisy.
Fair enough.
Who are you going to call?
Tom Holland.
Oh, yeah, I wonder if it is Tom Holland.
I would pay all the money for that to happen.
How much would you have to pay for an in-person visit from Tom Holland?
I wouldn't have to pay anything because he clearly wants to come over.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But I would pay $1 million.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That still seems like low. I would expect it to be a bit more.
Well, it's your $1 million that I'm using.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. You can donate to Patreon.
No, stop that.
No, Adam, I have to tell you, I can't remember the last time I made a phone call.
Yeah.
I don't know if my phone even does that. Why don't we test it out?
Okay.
Show me how a phone works.
There is also an option where you can text for nudes from the characters. I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding. That's not an option. Only from me and Patrick.
And we should mention that this is toll-free, right?
This is a toll-free number. It's
I love it.
1-877-7-MICKEY. And you can call from anywhere. Call from home.
Oh, my gosh.
If your kids are having a bad night before they go to sleep, say, if you don't stop crying, Mickey won't talk to you before you go to sleep. Emotional blackmail.
That's how parenting works.
That's how you parent.
Okay.
So who do you want to hear from, Patrick?
You decide.
All right, let's do this.
Let's make it a mystery, and I have to figure out who it is.
I don't think it's going to be that hard.
Well, I've heard that before.
Hey, spider friend. Thanks for calling me. Whew. I had such a crazy day. I was just flipping along, minding my own business, when my spider sense started going nuts. There was a bank robbery near the park, then a fire uptown, then a cat caught in a tree, and then a tree caught in a cat. It was a whole thing. I guess that's life for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But sometimes Sometimes it takes a lot out of me, so I gotta get some sleep. You probably should too. Sleep tight. Good night.
I love it. I'm a little aroused.
Oh, no.
And a little afraid.
Not Tom Holland.
Disney has just released a new book that I need to get my hands on immediately. The Art of Disney Costuming, Heroes, Villains, and Spaces Between. The book was inspired by the Walt Disney Archives exhibition at the D23 2019 Expo. This is the first time the archives have created a companion book for their key Expo exhibition. The book celebrates the imagination, passion, and attention to detail invested in each Disney costume. The core subject of the book will be live-action films of the past 3 decades. You will still get a background establishing the costuming process dating back to Disney's earliest projects like Mickey Mouse's red shorts, white gloves, and yellow shoes, or Davy Crockett's iconic coonskin cap. But the team wanted to move the story forward to a more modern look at the artistry. A quote from Disney Edition's senior editor, Jennifer Eastwood: "Much has been said and written about the significant work of the artists, animators, performers, composers, designers, and Imagineers who have brought forth the sorcery of Disney. Disney costume designers have never had their work examined with the same focus until now." You can purchase The Art of Disney Costuming, Heroes, Villains, and Spaces Between right now.
I love it. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of pictures, and I don't like to read.
It's true. Mm-hmm. You can tell by the news that you read. Not great.
It's about time Disney costuming got some recognition. I mean, I guess recognition isn't the right word because they're constantly winning awards.
That's true.
Disney's costume designers are winning award after award. But what I mean is kind of a more public accessible documentation of the work that's put into these costumes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The archives look amazing. And I think it's fairly new actually for Disney to start archiving and cataloging all of these costumes that have been in their history. I think a lot have been lost along the way because they weren't paying attention to it.
Sure.
And now they're really getting serious about it and recognizing that they have some very valuable items on their hands.
I want to wear a lot of them.
You would look sultry in Jasmine's two-piece, I think.
Disneyland's Frontierland is about to get some rootin' tootin' new entertainment.
That was wild.
This fall, a magician will be strolling into town and astonishing guests with sleight-of-hand magic at various locations throughout Frontierland, including the Mark Twain Riverboat and the Golden Horseshoe.
You know, nothing says Western times like up-close magic.
Well, if they kept it really authentic, it probably wouldn't be allowed in a Disney park. Like, I'm thinking whores.
Oh, my.
Gunfights.
They used to have a gunfight show, actually.
Oh, did they?
In Disney World, I believe.
And they do have the arcade in both locations.
That's true. There's a lot of gunplay at Disney.
Later this year, dueling piano players will be appearing in the Golden Horseshoe, performing Old West ditties and taking requests from the audience.
Ooh, I like that.
Patrick, what would you request from the dueling piano players?
Poker Face by Gaga.
That's a great selection.
Thank you so much. How about you?
Chandelier from Sia?
Yes. You can swing on the chandelier in Be Our Guest at the same time.
The chandelier.
The Run Disney 2019-2020 season is around the corner, and Disney has just announced a few changes for the January Run Disney Marathon weekend. A few changes have been made to the marathon. The run will now start at 5 a.m. In years past, this run has started at 5:30 a.m. Real big change there.
But a meaningful one. You got to get up earlier now.
It's true. You have to wake up at 1:30 a.m. now.
Why even go to bed?
No, most people don't. Not most. A lot of people don't.
Oh, how can you put your body through that?
I don't understand it. Not for me. A change to the course has also been made for the marathon. Runners will now run through Blizzard Beach and will spend more time running in Epcot, which will reduce the amount of time running on the open roads and highways. No changes have been announced yet for the half marathon, 10K, or 5K courses. Also new for the marathon weekend is an exclusive runners-only outdoor area after the race where runners can take photos, pick up their personal items, stretch, and recover. Now, in years past, after the run, runners and spectators all mingled in sort of the same area, making it very crowded. A Cheer Squad package will still be available for those wanting to access the finish line and Magic Kingdom viewing locations, but it will not include access to the runners only area. Now, according to the blog, Disney will announce more details and the on-sale date for the new open-air runner area and Cheer Squad packages, which makes it sound like the runners only area will need to be purchased separately, which ruffles my feathers a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're already paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars to run the race in general, all the runners should just have access to the same stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just my opinion. But, who can say what it actually means and what it's all going to unfold to be? But we will be sure to share more details when that info becomes available.
Sometimes I watch collegiate cheer competitions to see Cheer Squad packages.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's upsetting and honest.
How are you going to spend more time running through Epcot? Is it because there's so many construction walls that are going to be up that they're just going to be like, around this wall one more time?
Well, as of right now, they have you entering Epcot through the gateway, kind of where England is, I guess.
Yeah.
I imagine you might actually start at the beginning of Epcot and run all the way through it and back.
So you're running through what is currently Future World, into World Showcase, and then back again?
I think so. That is
Okay.
just my speculation. They haven't released the actual map yet of the
Okay.
course, but that's the only thing I can figure, unless they have you run around the world twice. The World Showcase, I mean. But that seems silly, and it seems like it would be too crowded to do a double loop.
Although by that time, aren't you so close to the end that it's kind of like everybody's single file? I don't know how these things work.
It seems clear that you don't.
Patrick, I've got a rumor for you.
Lay it on me.
The rumors of live entertainment cutbacks at Walt Disney World continue to surface. This week's rumor is that the popular and phenomenally talented Burudika Band, which performs in Harambe Village at Disney's Animal Kingdom, will give its last performance on October 13th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m.
This is a terrible rumor.
It is an awful rumor. A lot of times I hear some of these rumors and it doesn't really faze me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much like, let's change it out and see if things improve or if there's something that they deliver that's more exciting or more interesting.
Yeah.
But this one hurts because every time I walk past this talented group of performers, there's always a crowd around them.
Yeah.
And they're always delivering like dominoes.
They're
like,
amazing.
It's so talented and really livens up Harambe Village.
Yeah, for sure. I think across the board, Disney Entertainment, the live actors that are roaming the parks or giving little shows, are part of why I love Walt Disney World.
It's these little things that you stumble upon where you're like, oh, that's like a great little addition or touch to this area.
Yeah, I think this is a huge mistake to start getting rid of them. So far, we have the Muppets that are going away.
Right.
We have now these performers at Harambe that are going away.
Right.
A lot of the citizens in Hollywood Studios have gone away.
Yes.
I don't like that. I am going to miss them a lot, and I think it's going to lessen the fun of the parks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this is just a rumor.
Yeah.
And let's hope that if the band is eliminated, that something replaces them that's equally as inspiring and entertaining.
And let's hope that these cast members are placed somewhere else throughout the parks and they're not just displaced.
And if they are, I have a one-bedroom apartment. They're welcome to come stay with me because they're all amazing.
And fine.
They are usually very attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Way to distill it down to looks.
That's what I do. It's my gift.
Hey, Patrick.
What up, Adam?
Do you remember a couple of weeks ago when we had the extreme honor of appearing on Matt Long's podcast called Explore the World Travel Podcast?
I do remember that, Adam.
Matt reached out to us and interviewed us for that podcast, and we had the best time ever.
We had a great time.
So much so that we then said to Matt, hey, return the favor.
Dude,
Come on our podcast.
why don't ya?
Yeah. And it just so happens that Matt was about to experience his very first trip to Walt Disney World.
It's true.
And so we thought that's a perfect opportunity for him to come on, Gaze Do the D, and talk about his experiences as a first-time visitor to the world.
That's right. The stars have aligned for us.
But before we dive into the interview, we should talk about Matt because he has an amazing career
Yes, he does.
and an incredibly interesting and entertaining podcast.
Absolutely. Matt describes himself as an experiential luxury traveler at heart. And you can see a lot of his travel photographs, and he has a travel blog on his award-winning website, landlopers.com.
It's super fantastic. I encourage everyone to visit landlopers.com.
Absolutely. He's a wonderful writer and a very accomplished photographer. I was chatting with him the other day. He has a really great Instagram as well with beautiful photos. And I was like, what camera are you using? His iPhone. He's using his iPhone.
Sometimes it just takes a really talented eye like mine to look through a phone and see how an image can be captured and really to kind of encompass its beauty. Yeah, so Matt and I have that same eye.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
So Matt takes it upon himself to travel the world.
Yes, that is his cross to carry.
Yes. And he shares tips on where to go and what to see and how to experience the best the world has to offer.
That's right. He often has really wonderful, well-versed travel bloggers on his podcast as well who are giving fantastic advice that he learns along with too. It's really, really fun to listen to.
Are you talking about us?
I am not.
Because we were on episode 31.
We gave no advice whatsoever. None that should be listened to anyways.
Did we make it all about us?
We sure did.
Oh, we're so good at that.
We are very good at that.
Matt's been to 95 countries and all 7 continents, Patrick.
That's amazing.
I've been to 11 countries and they're all in World Showcase.
Fair enough.
And I've actually been to England too.
Good for you.
Does that count?
It is another country.
It's like America's father. England.
Wow.
And we're due for a spanking. We've been very naughty.
I like the sound of that. So as we said, to learn more about Matt, go to his website, landlopers.com. Follow him on Instagram, which is also landlopers on Instagram. And listen to his podcast, Explore the World Travel Podcast. And you can, of course, learn more about him by listening for the next half an hour to our interview with Matt Long. He is a delight and a treat to talk to.
And we're okay to listen to.
We are just fine.
We're just fine. Sorry about all of our stuff, and here's Matt. Welcome to Gays Do the D, Matt.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. It's great to be on the other side, I guess, of the proverbial microphone.
So, Matt, let's just jump right into the interview. First of all, we like to get from all of our guests sort of a Diz-tory lesson on your connection with Disney and what your history is growing up with Disney, or are you a new Disney fan? What's your Disney deal?
Well, like everyone else in the world, of course, I grew up at Disney, and always loved them. And my oldest friends recently reminded me, because I kind of forgot, that I was obsessed. And when I was 10 or 11, I actually wanted to work for the Walt Disney Company. And that was like my entire goal. And I completely forgot about all this. I guess I don't know if I repressed it. I don't know why I would. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, for years and years and years. But it wasn't until last summer, I was actually in Anaheim for a conference. And it was at the convention center, which, as you know, is a few blocks away from Disneyland. And I had some free time, so I went over to Disneyland. And that was my first Disney experience. I absolutely fell in love immediately. I mean, I was buying ears within 5 minutes. I was completely under the spell. And since then, I've been back 3 additional times for a total of 4, just at Disneyland. And I had been avoiding Walt Disney World because it scared me a lot. Even though it's so much closer and easier to get to, I would fly across the country to avoid it. So last week, I finally had that chance and visited for the first time.
Love it. Love it. So you are an amazing travel writer and photographer and now a podcaster. Can you tell our listeners, because you have a really interesting and unique story about what got you into this and what inspired you, tell our listeners that story.
Sure. We have 2 or 3 hours, right?
Whatever you need.
Volume 1. No, I mean, growing up, I was always obsessed with anything international. You know, instead of Madonna or Michael Jackson posters, I had, flags of the world on my wall, and Garfield. I like Garfield too. So it was flags of the world and Garfield. And just all throughout my schooling and everything, it was just completely 100% focused on going overseas. Then reality came in and I moved to Washington without a job. And so I took the first one I got, like, as you do. And it was in domestic politic, boring things. But in life, it's easier to keep doing something you don't enjoy than it is to change, because change is hard. And people don't like to change. So I didn't. But I was getting more and more unhappy. I just didn't know why. And nothing was going right. And then I went on a fantastic trip, and I was inspired when I came back to kind of start a website. And I'm not a tech guy at all. I didn't really know what a blog was, and still kind of amorphous. But I somehow set it up, and within a few years, I was in a position to be able to leave that full-time job I hated so much and do this weird whatever it is that I do full time. And that was 7 years ago, 8 years ago, 7, I think. That was a while ago.
You're living literally my dream right now.
Well, it's a job, but it's a very good job. So it definitely has its ups and downs like any other job. But no, I'm not complaining. No.
Of course.
So, Matt, as you mentioned, you just got back from your first trip to Walt Disney World after having become a Disney parks fanatic with your visits to Disneyland. So the first question we have to ask you is, how did you prepare for your first trip to Disney World? Did you research any specific websites or reach out to anyone for guidance? How did you kind of come up with a plan to tackle those 4 parks and beyond?
I was very poorly prepared. Well, Patrick helped me. I kept sending him emails like, what is this? What is this? What is this? So thank you, Patrick.
That explains why you were very poorly prepared.
Yeah.
Patrick.
I set you up for immediate failure.
Yeah, you reach out to Adam next time, Matt. You reach out to me.
Sorry. Well, I did download the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World. And I actually had the co-founder of that on my podcast. I just interviewed him yesterday, so look out for that in a few weeks.
Wow, fun.
Yeah, it was a really interesting conversation, actually. But anyway, so downloaded their book. And that, along, honestly, with your podcast and other podcasts. And for the last year, I've been stalking Disney Twitter, because it's a weird world. So I've just kind of been on the fringes watching it all. But I've learned a lot and picked up a lot along the way, just silently, because I don't want to get embroiled in what is an odd amount of drama. I don't know why there's so much drama in Disney, but anyway. There is. So not wanting to have anything to do with that. I just wanted their information. So all that kind of cobbled together along with, maps and all that good stuff. I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I was entirely wrong because I literally did write down a list of like the order, my own touring plan, the own order of attractions I wanted to see and do. And immediately I just threw it all out the window. But it was a good mental exercise.
And that trip was a solo trip, right? It was just you experiencing Walt Disney World.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was actually part of a longer trip. So one of my sponsors this year is Marriott International, and every quarter I've been doing a different road trip or trip around the country. And for the next quarter, we picked Florida. So Orlando snuck in there. I wonder how. And I spent the last few days there, but I'm no stranger to doing Disney solo. 3 out of the 4 trips to Disneyland were solo trips for me. And honestly, I prefer it, at least the first time, because I am crazy the way that I do parks and don't let things like exhaustion and heat stroke get me down.
Same here.
So, normal humans would not enjoy it as much, at least that first time, because I feel compelled to do a lot. So it's best that I'm just left alone.
I'm the same way. I'm just like, I don't need a nap. What's that? I'm not 4 years old. I can go and do all the things in every day.
I am 4 years old, so I need the nap. I need my binky and a snack and a nap.
Well, you can bring your binky and a snack with you into the park, so...
That's true.
Good. That's a good hot Disney tip. You can bring your own binkies and snacks.
And there are plenty of benches. You can just lay down. So there you go.
I love it. I'm sure someone will burp you later on if you need it. So what were your initial impressions when you first arrived in Disney World? Did it meet your expectations right away? Were you nervous? Were you scared? How did you feel?
I was definitely apprehensive because I didn't, I had read about the transportation system, but I didn't understand it, if that makes sense. You can only really understand it once you do it.
Yeah.
You can read everything out there, but it doesn't really give you context, right? So but that was easily, that hurdle was nothing. I stayed at the Dolphin Resort near Epcot, and it was perfect. It was ideal. And so the first park I went to was Magic Kingdom, and it was an easy bus ride. 15 minutes, direct, no stops. And as soon as I got into Magic Kingdom, I kept trying. I was comparing and contrasting with Disneyland immediately, just trying to find any and all differences, of course, of which there are many. But it was amazing just to walk down Main Street and how similar it is to Disneyland. It was a nice feeling. It was like being home again. Aw.
You mentioned the various forms of transportation at Walt Disney World. Were you able to take more than just the buses? Did you get to experience any of the boats or the monorail?
Yeah, the boats were actually fantastic. Since I was right there at the Dolphin, I was able to take the boat to Hollywood Studios and also Epcot. Yes, you can walk to Epcot, but it was 1,000 degrees and I did not want to. So I took the boat, and the boat was actually more reliable than the bus. And I don't know why that would be, because it's a boat. But, the bus would have listed time, and it would keep creeping up and up and up and up until it was like 30 minutes late. But you know what? The boat was always there. They did not kid around. If someone running down the pier, too bad. There'll be another boat in 20 minutes. They were all business, and I loved it. I thought it was really great. So that was my favorite mode of transportation. I wish I could have taken the monorail. There wasn't any need for me to, but I do love the monorail. And I saw the, whatchamacallits, what are they called? Skyliners? Is that
Skyliners? Yeah.
They were testing them nonstop. So I saw them flying through the air with no one inside them.
They move pretty quickly, don't they? Faster than you'd think they would.
They do. They do. I hope they slow it down when there are people on there, because that's probably a little bit too fast, Disney. But but they look cool, and I think that's a fun new way to get to the parks.
So anyone who follows you on Instagram knows that you love to eat really good food and take pictures of it. Were there any favorite snacks of yours in Disney World? And how would you rate the snacks and food versus Disney World and Disneyland?
See, this is a hard question. And this is what I understand what Adam meant before when I asked him something similar. It's difficult to say. So, that's one of the things I didn't do that well in Disney World, was really plan out my snack strategy. And I wish I had. I did have the cinnamon roll at Gaston's, which I enjoyed quite a bit.
So good.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I loved it. Had a pineapple vanilla swirl, Dole Whip, which is one of my all-time favorite snacks. I had a couple meals there too, and I've said this about Disneyland. It's the same issue. Disney does snacks pretty well. They don't do meals very well. And you're paying for ambiance more than anything else with a meal. Snacks are where they really shine, I think. But that's just me.
Can you remind us where you had reservations? I think you were at Jungle Skipper. Were you not at the Skipper Canteen?
Yep. And I actually ended up canceling one of my reservations, but I did have dinner at Skipper Canteen, which I loved. I thought it was great. They do a really nice job with the decor. The waiters and waitresses are sassy and funny, and to prepare for it, I did the Jungle Cruise immediately before. And it was a nice experience. It was good. I had reservations also at Oga's Cantina, which is not really a meal as much as it is 10 a.m. martinis, but
right.
As you do. But that's the one thing I missed out in California. And so I really wanted to make sure that I experienced that. And I'm glad I did. The third reservation I canceled for a few different reasons. That was in Epcot at the China Pavilion. And I canceled that because I reminded myself that I honestly just don't think Disney dinners are worth it if you're alone. If you're with someone else, it's not a 3-star Michelin meal. You're there for the environment, and it's romantic and cool. And if you're a solo traveler, I don't need to pay $100 for that. And it was also during Epcot Wine and Cheese Festival, Food and Wine Festival. Sorry, not wine and cheese.
Get it right, man.
Food and Wine Festival. And, I like small bites anyway. I love appetizer size foods. Maybe it's because I feel like a giant. I don't know. I just love it. And so I love the idea, though, of just walking around Epcot and just getting what I want rather than being committed to a whole meal. So that's why I canceled that last reservation.
Let's talk about some of the attractions you experienced. As all of our listeners know, Disneyland and Walt Disney World share several attractions. They have several attractions in common. For instance, the Haunted Mansion, Splash Mountain, Space Mountain. Were there any attractions in Walt Disney World that you were surprised by, either how different or how similar they were to the Disneyland attractions?
Yeah. talking about Jungle Cruise, I didn't expect there to be any differences, and there are, which really, it surprised me. They're nice additions, and that's probably the one attraction I think that I prefer in Disney World than in Disneyland. I didn't expect Space Mountain to be different, but it is. I knew Haunted Mansion would be, and I do prefer Disneyland. I think, Adam, you were complaining about Big Thunder Mountain Railroad?
I don't know if complaining is the right word.
Adam hates everything in Disney World if it's also in Disneyland.
I just think that Big Thunder Mountain in Walt Disney World is not as fully realized as it is in Disneyland. And I know they're going to be making upgrades for the 50th in Walt Disney World, but Disneyland, there's more of a complete story and better special effects.
That's probably true. Because I was writing it and I enjoyed it, and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to. So
you don't always have to listen to Adam.
You do. You always have to listen
Trust
to me. Always.
So, I didn't think it was that bad. No, I thought it was good. The one thing I did not do, because I hate getting wet, was Splash Mountain. And I hate getting wet. So, sorry, I didn't do that one. But I think, Adam, you said it was better in Disney World.
For the record, I do think that you do get less wet in Disney World than you do in Disneyland. I got soaked in Disneyland for sure.
Yeah, no, me too.
I think it's a crapshoot no matter what on that ride.
It's just let go and let Mickey take the wheel.
Let Mickey take the wheel.
So, there are obviously some differences. I don't know why Liberty Square exists.
Oh, no. Adam's going to slap you?
That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think New Orleans in Disneyland is awesome.
Yeah, sure.
Why would you do something different? I don't know.
Sure.
It's fine. It just seems like a place to kind of chill out because there's no one there. But and it's a small world. Disney World is terrible. I thought, you have the beautiful World's Fair facade in Disneyland, and it's just nothing like that in Disney World. So.
Listeners at home, Patrick is the only one here who loves Disney World.
That's not true.
No, it's fine.
Just true. Just kidding.
It's fine. It's fine.
Wow.
It's fine. And you know what? I enjoyed the other parks much more than I did Magic Kingdom.
Well, let's talk about that, because Epcot and Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios do not exist out in California. So what did you think of those three parks?
I had a great time. I really did. I think I was surprised by how much I really, really enjoyed Hollywood Studios, actually. It's the only park I went back to twice. Because I was there for 3 days. So let's keep that in mind. So the fact I went back to any park twice is fairly amazing. But I did. I went back there twice. And funny you mentioned California, because, and I told Patrick this before, it reminded me a lot of California Adventure.
Absolutely.
And I think that's one reason why I loved it so much.
Yeah.
But then I got into it deeper and really started to appreciate it. It takes some of those great elements, Disney California Adventure, but it's just so much more. And I love the 30s, 40s vibe and old Hollywood. It's nice. It's nice. It's in a nice immersive environment. I also like the rides. I like thrill rides. So, Aerosmith and Tower of Terror and all that stuff. That was great. I really enjoyed that. And of course, Star Wars. Star Wars is there. So went and said hi to Batu and check up on everyone, see how they're doing, see if the moons are rising and if the spires are still there. And sure enough, they are.
Speaking of Batu, you are one of few people so far, I imagine, who have visited Galaxy's Edge in both California and Florida. Were there any noticeable differences in Walt Disney World's versus Disneyland's?
The first thing I noticed was that they moved some of the bathrooms. So that's because I went to where I knew there was a bathroom and it was a wall. And
so
so I found a cast member. Said, "Where are the refreshers?"
Did you know that on Batu you're actually allowed to use a wall instead of a restroom? Fact.
So I wish I'd known that. That would have been better. Other than that, no. It's amazingly similar, if not exactly the same. Perhaps there are very small differences, i.e., the language that I just wouldn't know because I don't know the fake language. But other than the one refresher being moved, no, it's almost identical. It's a fairly amazing job they've done, and I like it there. I really do. I know it gets a bad rap, but I spent a little bit of time, a fair amount of time, walking around, taking photos, and just kind of being there.
So now that you've experienced both resorts, and I'm assuming that you've utilized MaxPass at Disneyland, how would you compare the FastPass system at Walt Disney World to MaxPass at Disneyland? Which do you prefer?
Disneyland, hands down, every day of the week. And I know there's a lot of debate. It's more egalitarian, I guess would be the word, in Disney World, to give everyone the chance to get those priority passes. But I like paying $15 in Disneyland and doing whatever I want. And I can do it that morning if I want to. In fact, you can't choose anything until you're within Disneyland itself. There is no get up 2 months in advance and try to get something. I like that. There are pros and cons to the Disney World version. And it is nice that everyone gets a chance to do it. But, for me and what I was there to do, it proved to be more of a hindrance than anything else. And it really did dictate my entire day, because I got a couple, keystone fast pass times. And so I then had to reschedule everything around those damn things. Because I got Avatar Flight of Passage like a week before. I was checking it all the time because I'm very OCD about that stuff. And it popped up on a day that I was going to do Epcot only. So I canceled out all of Epcot and did the Avatar. So I had to redo everything. And you wouldn't have that experience in Disneyland.
That is one thing that I think Disneyland exceeds at, is the fast pass system out there. And partly because the parks are so close, right? That if you score a fast pass for something at DCA, then you can just walk right over and grab that, as opposed to, having to kind of plan your day around one park or half a day around one park.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like to me in California, they have, well, they do better day of availability, because it's the only time you can choose this when you're there. But, throughout the day, things pop up, I think, a lot more frequently than they do in Disney World. That being said, I love the magic bands in Disney World. I wish Disneyland had that.
What color did you get? Or did you bring your own? Did you buy a specialty magic band?
Of course, I bought a specialty one.
Yay!
I got the Pride one.
Aww.
That's me. And I like that. Disneyland having a paper ticket is really annoying, especially if you go on Splash Mountain, because they're not laminated; they're just paper, and you still have to have it. I've been asked many times at Disneyland to present my paper ticket, even though I've got an electronic one. So, magic bands all the way. I really like that system. It's fun.
Hear, 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 hear. I would consider you a travel expert. What are some improvements that you would like to see Disney World specifically make to accommodate its guests?
They're one of the best in hospitality, so there's a lot of stuff they do right.
For sure.
The buses were a little annoying in how often the times would shift. It would be nice to have them come on time.
Yeah.
And a little bit more frequently. I think once I was waiting quite a while. So maybe just a better bus system to the outlying resorts would be nice. Other than that, from a pure guest point of view, I was perfectly content. They managed crowds pretty well. I never really waited in line for food for very long. So no, I was happy. Happy camper.
Which resort, Disneyland Resort or Walt Disney World Resort, would you recommend for a first-time Disney Parks visitor, now that you've done both and actually have very recently discovered both?
I think it depends who you're traveling with. If you're traveling with young children, I think Disney World has a lot of advantages to Disneyland. And it depends on their ages and interests. But I think you have more opportunities to spruce up the trip for them, be it with character dining or special experiences. And you can spend a lot more time there, so you can make it a proper vacation, a week or so. Disneyland, I love it, but I don't know what you do for a week there. It's Disney World, easy, absolutely easy, if not longer. So if you're going as a couple, I think Disneyland is a little bit easier to understand, and you get the same magical feeling that you're hoping to get if you're an adult couple. So I think it depends on your point of view more than anything else.
So you are a frequent solo traveler, which I love. I really enjoy traveling by myself. How did you find your experience in Disney World as a solo traveler? Did you feel comfortable? Were there any awkward moments?
I felt mostly comfortable, and as you know, I bought special ears for the occasion, and I was, proudly traipsing through the parks. There were a couple times. One on the teacups. It's kind of embarrassing, especially with everyone staring at me like, why are you here, creepy?
Aww.
Creepy guy. And the same deal. It's the same ride, but the alien swirling saucers, it's the same thing. I was the only one above 10, and it was a little embarrassing, but I did it. And then I did enjoy dinner at Skipper's Canteen, but I've never. A lot of travel writers are okay with it. I'm not a huge fan of eating alone. It's not my favorite thing to do. I do it a lot, but there it seemed to be particularly embarrassing for some reason, especially since they called me out when I was waiting for a table. It's like, oh, are you alone? I'm like, yeah, just me. But that's about it. The rest of the trip was fine. It was fine being a solo traveler. And like I said, I preferred it.
Yeah, it for sure takes some getting used to dining solo. But once you get the hang of it, you just sort of ignore everything else and just have a good time. That's why I bring Donald with me, though, to lighten the blow there.
Donald Duck, that is.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's normal. And that doesn't look weird.
Hey, you don't know me like that. Come on.
That doesn't look creepy.
You should see Patrick and Donald on the teacups together. It is the sweetest thing you've ever seen.
We're the cutest couple ever.
So we talked about Hollywood Studios. You said you loved Hollywood Studios. Let's backtrack a little bit. Let's talk about Animal Kingdom and Epcot. How did you find those two parks?
Animal Kingdom is really well done. And that's probably the park I researched the least. And I just had a hazy idea of what it was. I knew there were animals and that's about it. So I walked in not knowing a lot, but they've done a really nice job with it. And I loved how each portion of the park is so very different from each other.
Right.
Africa and Asia, I loved both, but for very different reasons. And they feel like you're in those two places respectively. Pandora has, I always question things are overhyped. And so I went into Flight of Passage with, a lot of skepticism, but it ended up being one of my favorite rides, if not my favorite ride. It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I loved every second of it. And I think I did almost everything except for the water ride in Animal Kingdom. 'Cause I got there, they had magic morning hours. And so I went early in the morning and was able to do almost everything. So the place was empty. It really was. And so I was able to hop on a whole bunch of stuff and enjoy myself.
And let's talk a bit about Epcot. This is my favorite park, so watch what you say.
I know. It was good. I enjoyed it. I am glad it's going through some changes the next year.
Yeah.
I think it needs it. It's a wonderful place. It's full of optimism and hope for the future, but it also has a very distinct late 80s vibe to it. And I just think it needs to be refreshed. I really do. That being said, I've really enjoyed the Mission Space. I did all the rides, I think, on that side of the park. I did not spend enough time in the World Showcase, oddly enough, because someone like me, you think I would. But I kind of got sidetracked by the food festival. And because of that, also, that side of the park was very, very busy. And so getting in and out of the beach pavilion was taking a little bit longer than normal. And I intended to go back, but I never did. So that's a good reason for me to head back. But no, I liked Epcot. I thought it was good. It's huge. It's enormous. I had no idea as I was walking from one end to the other. It's enormous. It really is.
Yeah, you can't really get anywhere quickly in that park.
No, and there's no shortcut. It just is. Oh, that's just 2 miles away. Sorry, you just got to deal with it. And there was a great Florida torrential thunderstorm when I was there, but I had my trusty poncho, so I was good to go.
You've been properly initiated then in the Florida weather.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. Was Epcot my favorite? No, it was not.
What was your favorite?
Hollywood Studios, right?
I think so. It's close up there with Animal Kingdom, honestly, because I did like the rides at Animal Kingdom, not just Pandora, but then Expedition Everest. I love that one.
I'm going to chalk that one up to Animal Kingdom for my side of the point system here. So
There's
well
a point
done.
system?
There's a point system.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and
All
you're
right.
you're winning right now, Matt.
It's also a drinking game. So for those of you playing at home, do a shot.
Just do one anyways. So was there anything that you didn't get to do or see that you wish you had or that you are planning to do or see on your next trip to Walt Disney World, assuming you are going back?
No, I am going back. I'd like to go back and definitely experience more of it. Because I had a really crazy self-imposed schedule, I'd get there as early as I could and stay as late as I could. Staying very late into the evening just did not happen for me. I was just physically incapable of doing it. So I'd love to go back and see some of those wonderful nighttime shows for which the parks are so very famous. And most of the shows too, because I was really concentrating on attractions. And I really didn't see any live performances. I went to the Muppet thing in Hollywood Studios and Country Bear Jamboree because that's wonderful. Oh, and Enchanted Tiki Room because I love that. In Epcot, I definitely want to go back and explore the World Showcase a whole lot more. I mean, I really just ran by each one. Oh, look, France. Oh, look, Italy. And so I really want to go and investigate those. I think they deserve a whole lot more of my time. I didn't spend that much time in Toy Story Land. I'm not sure if it needs a whole lot more time. And places like Disney Springs and so on. I mean, Walt Disney World is enormous. It's huge. It's a country.
Yeah, it really is. You kind of have to go 2 or 3 times to see almost everything there. And even then, there's still things I haven't seen, and I've been there 6 or 7 times now.
Yeah, and my hotel was next to the boardwalk area, which looked beautiful, and I would love to have investigated that a little bit more, but I just didn't have time. So another trip.
That is definitely my favorite resort area, is behind Epcot with that beautiful boardwalk.
Yeah, I'm sold. I don't ever want to stay anywhere else. I really loved that location for a lot of different reasons.
Was there anything you wish you had known going into this trip, or anything you would have planned differently now, knowing what you know? This will be a great kind of tip you can provide to people who haven't visited Walt Disney World yet.
I think I planned to spend, as a solo guy, traveler, too much time in Magic Kingdom and probably not enough time in places like Epcot and Animal Kingdom. I just assumed, it would be Disneyland and I would want to spend a whole lot of time there. And I didn't need to spend as much time there as I did. And I probably would have done just a different order of parks. I love the idea of starting with Magic Kingdom because it is the cornerstone of everything, and it's a wonderful first entree to the park system. After that, I think probably should be Epcot, and then maybe Hollywood Studios, and then finishing up with Animal Kingdom. That's my idealized schedule. Maybe some more rest because I'm still sore. I'm tired. I'm lethargic. I mean, I'm beaten up. I really am. It's crazy. I should have trained or something.
It takes a toll. It takes a toll for sure. So when is your next trip to Disney World? The world wants to know.
That's a good question. I don't know. I do know that I will be in Disneyland Paris in 2 weeks. 2.5
Oh,
weeks.
wow.
That'll be my next big Disney adventure.
Brag much?
I know. Wow.
And I've done even less research on that. So that'll be fun. I pretty much just have a ticket and I think I know where it is. So I'll show up and we'll see. No, I do have one dinner reservation. So at Remy's, the Ratatouille themed restaurant.
Oh, fun.
Other than that, yeah. No, it's a popular restaurant there, but I have no idea what I'm doing. So that'll be a fun time. No, I'm looking forward to it. It should be interesting, if nothing else. And I will have visited 3 parks then. Just 3 more to go.
Well, we are jealous of that trip, and I'm sure you're going to have an amazing time.
Yeah, no, and it's just to be clear, it's not a trip just to do that. I'm just going to be around there anyway, so I thought I would stop in, as you do.
Well, Matt, as you know, on our podcast, we have a segment we like to finish each episode with called Quick D.
Yes, and I love it.
And we thought we would use this opportunity to premiere a new type of Quick D with you. It's called Quick D, Diz or Dat. So you're going to be making choices here. We're going to give you 2 options. You're going to have to choose an option and tell us why you chose that option.
Okay, this sounds really scary. Is there an example that you 2 can do first?
I can do one for Adam.
Okay, hit me with it.
Adam, Epcot or Magic Kingdom?
The correct answer is and always will be Epcot, no matter what Matt says and no matter what you say.
Wow.
See, that's how you play it.
Wow,
Matt.
aggressive.
That's how you play Diz or Dat.
Okay, so you don't actually have to say the words Diz or Dat.
We will, but you don't have to.
Okay, I think I have it.
Are you ready for our quick Ds?
I think so.
All right, I've heard that before. Matt, Diz or Dat? Disney t-shirts or Disney ears? You can only buy one for the rest of your life.
Does this assume that I already have some in my possession?
It assumes nothing, Matt.
Oh, I love both so much.
I know,
right? Well, I have several ears, so I'll say t-shirts. I love my t-shirts.
Respectable.
Matt, Diz or Dat? Tower of Terror in Disney's Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World, or Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout in Disney California Adventure in Disneyland?
Guardians of the Galaxy, just because it has Chris Pratt.
That's fair.
That is the correct answer. I've never been on it, but it's the correct answer. Yeah. All right. Diz or Dat, Cinderella's Castle or Sleeping Beauty's Castle?
Sleeping Beauty, he yelled. Is that wrong?
No, I don't think so, but explain yourself.
It is wrong, but explain it still.
Well, no, because I think you have to go with the classic, no?
Yeah, I think that's a smart answer you have there. All right, last Diz or Dat, Matt. World Showcase in Epcot or travel the actual world?
Tough question.
No, it's not. Travel the actual world. And I think maybe that's why I think that's why I skipped some of it, because I've been to all these countries, and I was getting a little annoyed by it. So, yeah, travel the actual world. Get out there, people. It's a big world. Go see it.
That's true. Bonus question, Matt. Diz or Dat, Adam or Patrick?
Oh, that's rude.
You have to answer. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Is neither acceptable, or
That is the correct answer.
That is
Get rid of both of us.
that's most people's answer to that
Yeah.
to that question. Yeah.
So it's like Kobayashi Maru. So for Star Trek. The fact you got that is a little shocking, but I'm glad you did. All right.
We're all nerds here, Matt.
Love Star Trek. Love it. Well, Matt, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us about your very first Walt Disney World experience.
Absolutely. And thank you guys so much for all the help you gave me. I really appreciate it. It helped me out immensely.
Oh, good. Why don't you tell our listeners where they can find you on social media or where they can read all about your adventures?
Sure. My website is landlopers.com, and my social media handle on every single platform is landlopers. And please check out my podcast, Explore the World Travel Podcast.
I can vouch it is fantastic. Lots of great tips for traveling.
It is. It's a great podcast. Probably the best.
Wow.
You fit right in here, Matt.
No, thank you guys. I do appreciate it.
Yo, Adam.
Yo, Patrick Peanut.
What up, playa?
Hey, dog.
Wow. Wow. Do you know what time it is, Adam?
I'm from Wisconsin. I'm from rural Wisconsin, sir.
I like that you said that like I'm from Chicago. I'm from Wisconsin. No one believes you.
I don't know how to talk cool. All I know is to say, hello, how are you, and give you a firm handshake.
I don't like it firm.
You know?
I like a limp-wristed, just a wet noodle of a handshake.
Oh, it's always so uncomfortable.
So all that to say, it's Quick D time.
It's Quick D time. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
I am.
So Quick D is where Adam and I ask each other a question we've not been privy to prior to recording. Mm-hmm. We answer off the cuff, off the fly, off the Marty McFly. Mm-hmm. We go back in time, and then we come back to our seats and ask questions.
I think what you said made sense, but I kind of checked out for a second.
That holds true for most of our recording relationship.
Yeah.
What do you say we just slap each other with our Quick Ds and get this episode over with?
It's been such a slog, hasn't it?
Yes, it really has.
It's been the most delightful episode ever.
I blame Matt.
No,
just kidding.
He's fantastic.
He's a delight. So, Adam, hit me with your Quick D.
All right, so I'm going first, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Patrick, in honor of Matt's visit to Gaze Do the D and all of his adventures around the world, I want you to tell me the top 3 World Showcase pavilions based on guys that are hot, that are working there.
This is so easy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, did my question make sense, first of all? Because I was trying to word it in such a way that, okay. So
am I going in order of least attractiveness to most attractiveness?
Yeah, let's go that way. Yeah,
Okay.
So, I mean, least attractive in quotes, because let's face it.
Exactly.
All of the countries in World Showcase have hot guys working in them. But let's find out what countries you think have the hottest guys, Patrick.
Got it.
Top 3.
I'm going with England.
Oh, yes.
Number 3.
That fish and chip stand.
That fish and chip stand always has the most delightful dudes.
There was a guy working there the last time we went in August who could have played a young Henry VIII.
Oh, I remember.
Oh, yeah, the same guy. Yeah. He was redheaded and very attractive.
Yeah, I think he's been there for a while.
Has he?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we'll get free fish and chips for mentioning him, not by name, but just by physical appearance.
I like it.
Okay,
people will know. People will know.
UK is your number 3.
UK is A-okay.
Okay.
Good job, UK. Also, I am a bit of a...
Anglophile?
Anglophile.
Yeah.
I was about to say a very different word that did not match up.
What What was it?
I'm not going to say it.
Oh, come on.
Use your imaginations.
All right.
An Anglophile.
Yes, I am too.
Mm-hmm.
English history is the best.
Just listening to guys speak in their English accent, that's what I mean.
I took it to a learning place, and you took it to...
I took it to the Laughing Place.
The Laughing Place.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I enjoyed listening to them speak as well.
Good job, England.
Yeah.
You did it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 2.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Morocco.
Do we need to mention Mohammed from our dinner last time?
You won't stop mentioning him.
I won't, because he was so good looking.
He was fine?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mohammed.
Yeah, all the Moroccan men need to Morocco my world. You know what I'm saying?
That needs to be a t-shirt.
You're Moroccan my world.
You're
girl.
Moroccan, my world. Oh, yes, they are so attractive.
Also, that mixed with the delightful food. So I'm just putting all the good things in my mouth.
Yep.
And in my
What?
mind...
Hello. Heyo.
Number 1
Yes.
is going to be Norway.
Oh, now why?
I like those blonde, beefy Norsemen.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you like their troll horns there too, don't you?
I like a big troll horn.
Yes.
I like a double lefse roll. You know what I'm talking about.
Double. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's when 2 people hand you a lefse
Okay.
roll at the same time.
I was going to say, is it one person handing you a double lefse?
No,
or-
it's a
okay.
double-fisted lefse roll situation.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
You just pantomimed something that looked so inappropriate. It was clearly a handing of double lefses.
Yeah.
But the way it played out was very
Disturbing.
and erotic.
Great.
Yeah.
That's what I aim for here on Gaze Do the D.
I think you've made some fantastic choices.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I will be making my way around the world in 80 gaze.
I've never heard that before.
I'm going to put it on a shirt then.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Around the world in 80 gays.
Yes.
Maybe see a doctor after that because things could be contracted.
That could be the new stand at the World Showcase.
Uh-huh.
The clinic.
Yeah.
You need it for many reasons.
Oh, get checked before you go in and as you come out.
Mm-hmm. You
All
might
right.
you might need an IV to pump yourself full of fluids because you're dehydrated from drinking. I'm talking about.
Sure.
And the double lefse roll
Yep.
maneuver
Yep.
that I like to do. We should move on.
Let's do that.
All right,
Let's
Adam.
do that. Yeah.
I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Finally, the people have demanded that Gaze Do the D come out with their own coffee table book.
Oh, yeah.
Sell it to our listener.
All right. It's called Gaze Do the D, an introspective retrospective.
Oh, okay.
And it is chock full of not only our histories and our experiences in Walt Disney World, but also our hopes and dreams.
Oh, this sounds really sensible so far.
So far.
Okay.
Yeah, but things are about to go downhill
Turn the page.
quickly. It's a pop-up book.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're going to get an eyeful.
Of what?
Our adventures.
Oh.
What were you thinking?
Nothing. I was keeping it clean.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Norway.
Oh. Big old troll horn to the eye.
That's a pop-up I'd like to see.
And I think it's going to include many pages in the back of journaling that the person who just read the book can then do. Reflection on what they've read.
Reflections of girth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And how they feel about us. And then there's an envelope, and you can then mail what you've written down to us.
So you're opening the door for a lot of hate mail.
I think it's more fan mail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the same for us.
Not surprising that you would take it to a negative place, but yeah, fan mail.
Okay, good.
Pages and pages and pages.
I like it. So there's only like 2 to 3 pages of us.
There's only 2 to 3 pages of content, pop-up content.
Yeah.
And then there's about 50 to 100 pages of journaling
I like it.
that people can then either mail to us or reach out to a publisher to then write books about us.
This is very reminiscent of our podcast in general, where there's 2 to 3 minutes of good content that people can attach themselves to.
Yeah.
And then we make our listeners do the rest of the work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
Yeah. Journaling. It could be Gaze Do the D fan fiction. Like maybe I'm suddenly a sexy vampire
I like that.
and you're a sexy werewolf.
Okay.
And we're fighting over the same troll horn. Twinklight. Does that... No?
Is that the name of the book?
Yeah.
I like it.
It's an option.
The name of the fan fiction book, I mean?
I'm spitballing.
Twinkle.
Yeah. 50 Shades of Gay.
Oh, I like that one. Werewolves in Norway. I want to suck your gaze to the D.
Yeah.
You don't like that one?
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about the message it sends.
Don't worry, Adam. It'll be clean. It'll be cleaned afterwards.
Okay. Stop in that World Showcase clinic.
Yep. A lot of handy wipes.
Clean. Oh, so much antibacterial wipes.
Puts a new meaning to the term handy wipe.
It does. It really does.
Gross.
That will do it for this episode of Gays Do the D. Thanks for listening. To become a patron of the podcast, visit our website at gaysdothed.com/donate. For a donation of any amount, you can receive exclusive Gays Do the D content and help us continue to bring you the very best Disney news and discussion. Continue the conversation after this episode on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast, and submit your questions or show ideas to info@gaysdothed.com. Have a great week, everybody. See you real soon.